All right, we're back with our extended interview with Russ Layton, the CEO and founder of Sparx Skate Sharpening. Needless to say, one of the most innovative companies that I think I've seen in my lifetime in hockey. Russ, the way I wrote the first question, I said this, is that when it comes to hockey, you may have had the most disruptive product impact of the last 10 years. And again, we're interviewing lots of companies in that. And some people have made a product that's maybe changed how you train the game. That's kind of like what Wraparound has done. We've talked about, things that have changed how tape jobs are being done. But I never would have thought before you came along about having my own personal sharpener, or even really a portable one for a youth team outside of pro. So I'm amazed by that. Obviously, I have your product. I love it. My family loves it. I can't speak enough good things about it. But I want to ask you this. This is not a small endeavor to jump into. Like, making a one-piece product, two-piece product, that's doable in a lot of people's minds. You made a machine. I mean, and it's a machine that has to do its job perfectly every time. So that just seems so daunting to me. What was the mindset to jump into that entrepreneurial endeavor?
I guess I'll start by, echoing what you said in that I think we estimate now we do somewhere between 7 and 8 million sharpenings on Sparx equipment around the world every year.
Wow.
So again, no small number of sharpenings are happening out there on the equipment we've designed and built. My background was medical devices, and we were designing complex systems that had, in many cases, a generator, which was a piece of capital equipment that was very complicated. And then it had a consumable or a disposable associated with it that was incredibly complicated. And there was, ties in between the consumables and the generators. And so coming over as a mechanical engineer to sharpening, I kind of had done it before in other industries. And this was another technical challenge that we had to solve. And, and we've now expanded into, a connected device that's it's crazy where we are. And the latest product that just released, the Sparx Sharpener 3, it took us, probably over 2 years, and there was probably 25 technical people in the development of that, inside and outside. So it's a huge endeavor. Like it involves some very deep technical knowledge, software, mechanical, electrical. You're right. It's definitely not, it's not for the faint of heart. You have to know what you're doing and have some confidence that you're going to be successful.
Yeah. You know what I find what's cool about the hockey entrepreneur space is that we all obviously share this tremendous passion for the game. I know a lot of people that listen to the extended videos here are maybe interested in creating their own thing. And the first thing I always tell people is you have to have an undying love of hockey, like almost to a professional level. Like pro athletes have that. I think we share that too. But I always said then there's this like second passion. And I find that this is the separator between people that pursue entrepreneurship and people who don't. I had a passion for broadcasting. Hence, we're doing a broadcast right now, right? That's something I dove into. Engineering sounds like it's something you also love. So to me, it seems like a very frustrating space. But I feel like for you, it's magical, it's artistic, it's music.
Yeah, absolutely. I think adding to what you said, I think to be an entrepreneur and to kind of go at this, you have to be confident, but there's a saying, like, you have to have a healthy disregard for the impossible.
Right.
Because it's nuts when you look back now over 10 years that we've been at this. Probably if I knew then the mountain we'd have to climb, it probably would have been like, it would have just stopped me in my tracks.
Agreed.
But again, you take bites, you take small bites, you set short-term goals. But yes, back to engineering and designing products. It's what I've been doing since I was a kid. It's what I do when I'm not doing this. I'm constantly, at home 3D printing solutions to just household problems, right? So I think that is helpful. And I think obviously that's, it would be very hard to be an entrepreneur and to chase something as difficult as this if you didn't love it. Like you have to love it, or you're just going to die trying, because you have to, the passion has to be there because it's a very long journey.
Right. Yeah. And I always tell people too that, look, there's nothing wrong with a great idea, but it is actually such a small part of bringing something to
Oh
fruition.
yeah.
Right. I think you said this earlier. There actually has to be a little bit of naivete in terms of like, you can do anything you want. Cause I agree with you. You look back at the mountain and it's like, oh man, that would have been daunting 10 years ago. But the other thing that you said that I really love too is that, and anyone looking to do anything successful in life, I'm not even talking about business. This could be a hockey career. You are always going to run into, there's no point in doing that. It's never going to work. Don't try it. It's not worth the risk. Anything worth pursuing, if you're hearing that, you might be on the right track. Again, there's
Yeah.
risk analysis. There's things you got to look at. You can't just jump in blind.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying kids, if your parents, you should listen to them too sometimes. But, for the most part, you're going to hear that along the way.
And I think if you're going to ultimately be very successful, it's a positive signal that you're doing something that the crowd isn't doing. Right? If you're doing something the crowd is doing, you're likely not going to be successful because lots of people are doing it.
Right.
But if you're going against the grain and you see an opportunity because of some special circumstance that you're in, and in mine, it was engineer designing medical products.
Right.
Person that was reaching a point in their career where I knew I either had to if I was going to go start my own company, I was like 30, probably 38 at the time, that I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like there was only a couple more years that I was going to be stupid enough to try it.
Right.
You have to have the passion, you have to have and so if you're in that perfect storm of like, I have the skills to do this, I have the craziness to do it, I have maybe some connections or some access to people that might back me, you have to take those perfect storms and run with them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you absolutely did, and one of the things you alluded to earlier is just about how Sparx is always innovating on itself. Any successful company has to continually evolve, or the train will come through, as I say. I'm interested. So again, you have the Sparx 3. You talked about how you went through multiple years to develop this. I relate to that with the Wraparound. A lot of people don't realize we're on the 7th edition of the Wraparound. A lot of people think it's the 2nd. And to be fair, the consumer doesn't really need to know. They just need to see the end product, right? So I'm just interested in your team's process for designing new equipment, because it's definitely not just limited to the sharpener. I mean, you have also come out with some other tools recently that I'd love for you to dive into.
Yeah. So, there's a little bit, the paranoid survive. Like we know if we don't innovate, we'll die.
Right.
And we've now created a pretty sizable market. So we have to keep our position of expertise and being the best in the world. And the nice thing about having the install base of users that we have, and it's fascinating, all of the organically created Facebook groups dedicated to our product. There's a number of them with 10,000 people in each of these groups
really cool.
that we have nothing to do with. They just happened. Those groups and our customers, through our customer support lines, they tell us which is so fun. They tell us what they're having problems with, and they tell us where the challenges are. And when we think about evolving the product and making it better and keeping the business growing, there's our laundry list of things to attack. Like, okay, let's just sit down with customer service, sit down with R&D, sit down with marketing and sales that are constantly out doing demos, and say, like, if you could have anything in Sparx, what would it be? Right. And so 2 or 3 years ago, we put that list together of like, what would we do to beat ourselves? Like, what would the product be that would actually take out Sparx? And that product would do X, Y, and Z. And so then we just set the team on it, and we start thinking about ways to accomplish those.
Yeah, I think you're bringing up another tremendous point. You said it right. You and I have been around 10 plus years. And I find the companies that are not around anymore didn't do what you just said. Right. Yep. And on a 2-part strategy, one is internally asking a lot of questions. Right. When you make the next edition, it's okay, let's rip this thing apart now and make it even better. But the second one, I think even the more important one, is that connection to your fan base, to those consumers that are using the product, and then openly saying, what can we do to service you better? Right. You cannot survive if you're not willing to listen. And if you bring too much ego to the table, I mean, you're going to be gone. It's just that it's a formula. So I love that you said that, Russ, because I think it's important. Again, this goes beyond just business, to be honest with you. This could go into bettering yourself as a human being, right?
Absolutely.
To just continually ripping it apart and finding new ways to evolve and never getting stagnant. I guess pro tip from Russ there. I got to say this too, man. Like I said, I have one, as you know. I love it. You know what I wasn't expecting? This is like positive feedback. The feeling I get after I finish sharpening any pair of skates with the Sparx is the most satisfying feeling. And then obviously making sure it's okay. And then, rubbing your finger over it. And there's like, I did that, right? This thing that people have been doing their whole lives for me. I had that
same realization like 12 years ago, when for years I was frustrated with sharpening and that I couldn't do it. And then I bought a manual tabletop skate sharpener. And that was really when I sharpened after, watching a video on how to do it and figuring out how to set the whole machine up. But just being able, it's like cooking a meal that's like fantastic. Like you're enjoying the meal and you're so proud that you created it.
Right.
Or doing something in woodworking, like in your house, like a chair that you sit on, like it's got its own, like another level of appreciation and satisfaction.
Yeah.
And I think doing your own set of skates and getting out there and feeling confident and or doing it for your kids and seeing your kids get out there with skates that you prepared, you're right. It like unlocks like a level of enjoyment and appreciation you didn't even know was there to unlock.
Right. Well, and I'll take it a step further. You said this too. I remember the first time I did it, and like anything, I've had my skates sharpened on Sparx before I had one, but you do it yourself and you're about to step on the ice and you're like, oh man, I really hope I did this right. And then it's awesome, obviously, right? And then there's like a second, like, I did this, and then there's this third level, and I wasn't expecting this either, of now I can do this whenever I want.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I know it's going to be consistent and it's going to feel right. And look, I want to say this too. There are some really great people that have sharpened skates in my life, but by and large, as you said, it's an inconsistent practice, right? Yeah. We all had our guy growing up, but with Sparx, I mean, it's every time. It's going to be perfect every single time, and that is a level of comfort as someone who prides himself on his skating that I didn't think could happen. Like that's the disruptiveness right there. Like I just didn't think that was possible.
There's another one too, which is like there's this like neighborhood currency that you have with it.
True. Yeah.
And I have neighbors.
You have a Sparx?
I have neighbors that come over and they're like, hey man, do you mind sharpening my skates? And it takes me like 7 minutes and I get done and I deburr the skates. I put the skate soaker back on there. And it's like, it's this relationship with a neighbor that I didn't have before. And they go off and they text me after they skate. And it's like, without Sparx in my life, I wouldn't even have that relationship.
Right.
And it's like, it's something that doesn't cost me anything but like 5 minutes of my time. And it kind of makes the world a smaller place too, which is pretty cool.
Well, you've also probably made people a lot of money on the skate sharpening black market. So I'll thank you for that ahead of time. Not me personally, but I don't.
Come on, that's no. Sharpening back there.
All of my freebies are free. I'll say it like that. That is my gift to them. But Russ, again, just kind of getting towards the close of this, just in case people don't know, obviously this is a personal skating machine. It comes with wheels, right? It is, I'm going to say it again, it's such a satisfying experience. It's incredibly easy to set up. The manual is incredibly easy to read. You have really done it. I mean, you've really disrupted the industry with this, and you continually disrupt yourself, which I love. I just think you've done this right, man. I got to congratulate you on that. Before we go, again, I got a couple questions here. You've traveled a lot for this product, really probably around the world at this point. You have any favorite
around the world? I've been in multiple continents and crazy.
Yeah, I remember seeing you at one of the shows years ago, and your crates came in. And I don't think I had seen it yet. And I was like, we have to see this thing. But do you have a favorite destination? Is there any place you've been that really wowed you? And it doesn't have to be one. It could be like, wow, I wasn't expecting this place to be so beautiful.
I traveled to Germany. Actually, I got to see a lot of Western Europe and some of the, sort of old world cities in Germany were beautiful. I have Polish heritage and I got to see Warsaw, Poland, which I had never I got to see Sweden, which was beautiful. There's just so many places, which is cool, around the world that love hockey.
Right.
And you get to go and not only experience like the food and the people, but I get to go to like the rinks and see what like
see the hockey.
12-year-old hockey looks like in so many different parts of the world.
Right.
And so I'd say some of my visits in Europe, especially Poland and Germany, were just really, really interesting. The architecture was beautiful. The people were amazing. So that those have been some of the best.
Yeah, I agree with you. My family's from the same area, and I'll tell you that Scandinavia is a very unique place, especially in hockey. Not just from the beauty of the land, like you said, but the development there is very different than it is in the United States. And Germany is got to be one of the most beautiful countries I've ever visited in my life.
It's unbelievable.
I was almost astonished. This is a beautiful country. So I love that you shared that, man. And my final question for you is, what do you love about working in the hockey market? I mean, we've touched on a lot of it today, but if you had to sum that up, what is special for you about being in this business?
I think for all of us that play, right? I've been playing men's league for as long as I can remember, and there's that like 6:30 in the morning or 10:30 at night men's league game, and you're all in the locker room, and everybody's just catching up on what their families have been doing and what they've been doing in between skates, and you go out there and you just have a blast and you're laughing. That's actually what it's like to work here at Sparx in the office every day. It actually feels like a men's league game. There's now 15 of us or so that play hockey here. And I think another thing that I love about building something like Sparx is there are 15 employees who use Sparx on a weekly basis for themselves or their families. And so we would never build a product that we didn't love and want to improve over time. And so like, my past was in medical devices and working on disease states that really weren't anything that I personally had a connection to.
Right.
And this, like, I actually use the product I designed and built on a weekly basis to get ready for hockey. And so it's just so rewarding to have like thought of, designed, and now produce a product that is like a part of my weekly life. So that's pretty cool to me. In the sport that I've been playing since I was like 6.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hey, listen, I can relate to that on multiple fronts. And I'll tell you that it is really the people that you're with that make the journey worth taking, right? It's not even so much the destination. And I love, because it's a culmination of love of a sport, love of something else, engineering, broadcasting, whatever it is that we're talking about, and then the people you do it with. That really is the recipe for success, right? It's not about just dollars, and it's not just about hits online, and it's not just about giving the middle finger to anybody, right? It's about doing it the right way. And you've really done that the right way, man. And I congratulate you on that. I love that we've kind of been on this journey for the similar amount of time. And I will tell you this, one day when they create the Adult Hockey League Hall of Fame, I will go to that ceremony with you. Okay. We'll both be in it.
Nice. Are you being inducted, or am I being inducted?
I'm about to be a first overall draft in the over 40 league. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, wow. Very
nice. But we could create, I don't know what city we'd put it in, but we'll put it in Jersey. That's the right place for that to be.
Put it Northern Jersey.
Northern Jersey. That's the only place it could go.
Birthplace of hockey. No, it's not.
The birthplace of disgruntled adult hockey.
Yes.
You can say the birthplace of Sparx technically, but we won't go there today. But Russ, this has been a fantastic interview. Again, for those of you who are interested, if you haven't already seen it, sparx.com. That's Sparx with an X.
SparxHockey.com.
SparxHockey.com. That's what I meant to say.
I don't even know where Sparx.com will take you. So,
I'm not sure I want to know now that I'm thinking about it. SparxHockey.com is where you want to go. We'll make sure we link that into the episode.
Go check the first link at work. Wait till you get home.
Yeah, that's definitely one you want to do in your own private time. Russ Layton, CEO, founder of Sparx. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on today and doing this extended interview with us.
Thanks so much, Lee, and best of luck with the podcast.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. And that's going to do it for this extended edition of the Wraparound Roundtable. Remember, all of the episodes are available here on YouTube, and the giveaway episodes are always available across social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I'm not going to do them all. Facebook, X. There's probably more than I'm not thinking of. But we want to thank you, the audience, for taking the time to listen. You really are the ones who make us who we are. And without you, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are today. So thank you so much. We'll see you the next time on the Wraparound Roundtable. Take care, everybody.